the greatness of Wizkid's generation is underestimated. I said that. And the reason why I said that was because I didn't feel like people were putting them in GOAT conversations like they should be. Do you understand? I didn't think people were giving them a fair crack at the GOAT conversation. Like the guys now, Wiz, David, Burna, Olamide, Tiwa Savage, especially those ones, right? I didn't think people were giving them a fair crack. If you ask people who the greatest Nigerian female artist is, people are going to say, oh, you can win all of them. I don't disagree with you. But you are going to go through, you're not going to mention Tiwa Savage. Are you joking? Do you understand? You are going to go through it. All of those names. You are not going to mention Tiwa Savage.
Hi, welcome to Hits Don't Lie. If it's a hit, trust me, we go feel them. And on this podcast, we try our very best to, dissect music, critique, go into it for what it really is. And my guest today, where do I even start from? The originality they ooze. Chai. First of all, this guy is a Nigerian lawyer. Let's start from there. Did you know that? He is a music executive. Let me just put it to you in context. He is the A&R marketing manager for Virgin Nigeria Music, right? He was an editor-in-chief, for Pulse Nigeria at some point. He is an entrepreneur. He is a music critic. He is a pop culture coordinator. Sometimes they enter Wala, they come out Wala.
Retired now.
People like these are endangered species, so we need to hold on to them very dearly. And he's my guest on the show today, guys. Please help me make welcome no other than Motolani Alake. Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me.
High five, man.
Thank you very much.
Your travels are worth it, man.
Thank you very much.
Which island did you come from now? Yeah. Because these days you don't know now. These days
I did Lagos like this.
I beg it.
I did Lagos like this.
I beg it.
I did Lagos like this.
Nice one.
How you doing, boss?
Nice to see you do something for the culture because we need to have these conversations about music.
Yeah,
it's kind of like lacking. People are shying away from talking real talk.
Yeah,
I know you've had your fair share of it. I know you've had your fair share of it.
I'm retired from problems these days. I don't want problems anymore. I mean, I did truth telling for a long time, and I'm still about truth, but people don't want to hear the truth.
They don't want to hear the truth anymore.
So, and it's not there are other people that tell the truth, and I really have a lot of respect.
No, but you have your truth. Yeah. You have your educational truth, and you can't lie. We need that educational truth on the show.
Yes.
Let me just tell you, bro. Yeah, when I asked you to come on the show, because I knew you would understand certain things that people don't really get.
Yeah.
There are many arguments Nigerians have about music, right? Yeah. And they place it on their heads without knowing what really are the metrics to measure these things you are saying. There's a GOAT conversation, and I'm not even about the GOAT. I'm about who is the GOAT in the first place. Because sometimes you have people say, oh, that's the GOAT. This is the greatest of all time. This is the greatest of all time. I want to just look at, those things that really make people or give people the right to be called the GOAT. I want to look at the back end of what it takes to be a GOAT. Do you think that there is such a thing as a GOAT in music?
That's a very good question. So for me, yes, I have my GOAT, and I think a lot of the time, I think GOAT can be very personal, right? But I think in the conversation of goatness, there are outrageous calls, and then there are calls that are not outrageous.
I can relate.
Do you understand? Like in Nigerian rap, for example, the top three for me is M.I. Muna and Olamide, right? However you choose to arrange it is up to you.
But you can't single out one
as long as it's one of them. You can't
single out one and say this is.
Do you understand? Right? As long as it's one of them, because whatever metrics you want to go by, the only people that tick all the boxes in those places are those three guys. Do you understand? Right? So when you really break it down in terms of GOAT conversations, like discography, longevity, inside the discography, you're looking at critical acclaim. you might look at maybe commercial success as an added advantage, but sometimes in certain genres, commercial success might not be fair.
It might not be fair.
It might not be fair.
So numbers cannot really tell the truth.
Might not. It's not that cannot. Might not tell the truth because
so this artist sold 100 million, 500 million streams, 800 million this.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily translate to them being
goats, right? And then some people are also still building their goat status. Their story is not complete yet. So you can only credit them for what they're doing now and always acknowledge that the journey is not complete.
Okay, so sorry to interrupt you here, but I was searching somewhere something called the sound creators.
Yeah.
And throughout history, we've had a few sound creators, genres. For example. I mean, may his soul rest in peace, but iconically, they will say that Fela Kuti is largely accredited to creating Afrobeats. We look at the likes of there's a guy called Tony Allen who has been accredited to the percussionist, the African percussion. There's another guy, some would even say Ebenezer can be largely credited to creating juju music or high life or thereabout.
Probably not,
life.
but
and Sonny Ade the likes of creating
juju
music. So these are sound creators, right? But wouldn't you say that to some extent sound creators are goats because of what they've done to the sound industry of Africa? Wouldn't you say that those are sound creators and these ones we have today are not really?
Yeah, but
I'm just saying.
Yeah, so
I'm looking at the context of.
Yeah, so that's a very good point. First is first. I don't think Ebenezer Obey and Sonny Ade created juju music. No. I think juju music existed, but they became the headliners of juju music of different kinds. And Sonny Ade headlined juju music in the world. I don't know if you know this, but when Bob Marley died, Sonny Ade, Island Records signed Sonny Ade in 1982 as like going to be the face of the label in 1982. I don't know if you know this.
I didn't know this, man.
Right, he was signed, and that led to the two albums, Synchro System, and then there was another album before Synchro System. They were the first two Nigerian albums to debut in the Billboard 200, and he was Grammy nominated. I don't know if people know this. So, but because he became like the face of it, right? People like to say maybe he created the sound. No, the sound existed. It's a traditional folk Yoruba sound. It's sound of parties in Yoruba culture, a sound of music in Yoruba culture that was adapted into what people call juju music.
So he kind of redefined it.
So you can't really say he originated when it's a sound of the zeitgeist. Ebenezer Obey is one of them because when Sonny Ade was getting big, he was the one that was holding it down here in terms of like the culture and everything. Now, what I would not to answer the question that you asked, yes, it's an added advantage if you create a genre. It's an added advantage if you headline a genre. But
it's not a
headlining something for me personally, would be an added advantage. I wouldn't say it's the major reason. If I consider Fela to be the GOAT, for example, the GOAT of Nigerian music, it's not because he created a genre, no. It's because of, one, his discography is insane. Right, commercial success. I read an article yesterday on Medium. The son of the founder of a record label called Phonogram Records, it was created in Nigeria in 1973, and that record label by 1976 it was Nigerian. They were signing Nigerian artists, Osadebe, Fela, William Oye, like we were signing Nigerian artists. And they generated the third most revenue in the world by 1976. This is a fact. This generated $76 million.
Where was I, bruv, man?
They generated $76 million.
Somebody cashed out
from Nigerian music. And then they made the income, like the net income for the label was 18 million. Like they were that successful.
Jeez.
And they were saying that Fela's album that was released around that time generated about $1 million in revenue. Osadebe was selling at least between 350 and 700,000 copies steady. And like, let's put that in context.
Right.
To just understand the sheer impact of what these guys were doing,
Right.
Back then.
Back then,
You understand?
bro. Yeah.
They were doing some really, really crazy. Can I cuss?
Yeah.
They were doing some really crazy shit.
You can do this, man.
Right?
Please feel free to do this.
The impact of that music back then, he was the guy back then. He was the biggest back then. He was alternating with some people maybe like Osadebe or whoever at some point, but he was the guy, right? And on top of that, what the music meant to the people, right? The sheer impact of the music, not commercial impact, the impact on people. And then the impact outside. Because it was signed to a company like Phonogram, they had distribution deals that are across the world. They had to export the music to different places. Back then, there's a photo of Fela, Madonna, and Basquiat. I don't know if everybody has seen that photo.
Yeah, I've seen that photo.
You know how crazy it is for somebody to be hanging with those guys? Madonna is a freaking queen of pop music, right? So Fela was that guy. And he was not just, he was headlining shows. I don't know if whatever people are doing now, people did it back then. Like niggas were moving fucking crazy back then.
Man. Fela was moving for real.
So
yeah.
Fela, and aside from that, the major reason why I might think Fela is the GOAT is because of the staying power of his music. 1976 till now is like 49 years ago, right?
Right.
I'm not mistaken.
Right.
The staying power of music for 49 years. And what it has inspired the careers of his children. It has inspired the careers of other people, everybody.
Right. Everybody you see here today.
Right? It has inspired the careers of other people outside the country.
Right.
There are white
been
bands.
Studied in university.
Yeah. There's a white band called what's their name? They were nominated for a Grammy like 3 or 4 years. They are white boys. They make Afrobeats. Do you understand? And they are not the only ones. There's an Irish band, Ireland, that makes Afrobeats. There's an Australian band that makes Afrobeats.
They study Afrobeats in
Do you
university.
understand? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
You understand?
They
As part of the curriculum.
Yeah, the time signature of Afrobeats is different from the entire world, you know.
So
you've made a point though. You made a point, man. You have made a very valid point.
Films about this guy's career.
Yeah.
This guy's music was in The Harder You Fall.
Yeah.
The Harder You Fall that was released like 2 years ago. Like it was that Let's Start was released like 40 years ago. And it's buzzing on TikTok now. So it's staying power. Like we can discuss like who is the GOAT, but
So those guys I mentioned for you now, you know, would you call them goats, or would you say there's a goat among them? Because you've clearly stated something.
I think the conversation of GOAT status. I don't know if you can call anybody aside Fela the GOAT of Nigerian music. I personally don't see how you can do it. I personally don't see how. Because if you're going to talk about sales, that article that I read to you yesterday,
I recall,
the son of the owner of Phonogram Records is the guy that wrote. So it's facts, right? So if you want to talk about sales, just because our media didn't document the feats of those guys, and because we don't know it now, doesn't mean those things don't exist. So I don't know how you can do it. You won't call him.
You're asking me how I can do it.
I don't know how. I don't know how. I don't know what metric
Maybe
you want to use.
in the comment section, if you think otherwise, let us know. Who else can match up to that?
I don't know.
But some would even say, okay, let's look at other. Some would even say, like you mentioned, longevity, right?
Yeah.
Not many artists can span 10 years, 20 years.
It's tough.
It's not easy.
5 years is tough.
5 years is tough now. Yeah. So when you see artists in this time, spanning 2 decades or 3, would you give them a little credit and say, okay, maybe they are on their way to this GOT status, or they are just, I don't know what language to use.
My response is going to be long-winded, but I hope it's not too long for people. So what I think is, as human beings, we tend to not value what is happening in front of our faces. We tend to value things that are related through nostalgia, right? That we end up underestimating the greatness that we are witnessing in front of us. Like what you are seeing, because especially in the age of social media, where if you didn't have that much access to them, you could only read them in the newspaper. Now you are seeing them on social media. You are seeing where they are. You have access to them.
You have access, more access.
There's a demystification, right? And then you are seeing the feats in real time. You've gotten tired of hearing that this person streamed 20 million in first week.
This person sold out this arena. This person sold out that concert.
It doesn't seem, you think is actually commonplace. It's not, right? So I think we all make a mistake. I've made that mistake in the past. I have not made the mistake. People thought I made the mistake. I didn't. I did an episode of Facts Only when I was still at Pulse about 5 years ago, where I said the greatness of Wizkid's generation is underestimated. I said that. And the reason why I said that was because I didn't feel like people were putting them in GOAT conversations like they should be. Do you understand? I didn't think people were giving them a fair crack at the GOAT conversation. Like the guys now, Wiz, David, Burna, Olamide, Tiwa Savage, especially those ones, right? I didn't think people were giving them a fair crack.
At it.
At the GOAT conversations. If you ask people who the greatest Nigerian female artist is, people are going to say, oh, you can win all of them. I don't disagree with you. But you are going to go through, you're not going to mention Tiwa Savage. Are you joking? Do you understand? You are going to go through it. All of those names. You're not going to mention Tiwa Savage. Like, so I feel like because of the factor of nostalgia, I'm not saying don't mention Oyeka Onwenu and Evied now. Goli, mention them. But mention Tiwa Savage as well. That's all. So if you're mentioning greatest Nigerian artists, don't just mention the names of old because people are going to say, oh, well, there was no internet at the time.
There was no access to
Yeah.
These guys harder to make those sales.
These guys if somebody was generating $1 million, it probably wasn't that hard as well. It was whatever privilege that these guys have, the version of that privilege then existed for those guys as well. I don't know if that makes sense. Let me take that again. Now, right now, the advantage is social media. First, there are different ways that music is quote unquote easier these days. People are going to say it's easier. I get it. And it probably is because to record music now is much easier. Back then, to record music in the 60s, 70s, you had to leave your house. Someone had to have a studio with expensive recording equipment for
hardware,
you to get quality,
man. All
right?
hardware.
And now you are playing the music live. Right, that shit is tough because if you miss a bit, you have to retake it from the top. That's not funny, right? Now on top of that, when you are done recording, you have to then go home. Someone will then have to mix it. Maybe you send the file, they'll carry tape and take it to America or England to go and mix it, and they'll bring it back. When they bring it back, now they take it to the pressing companies. And then when they are done at the pressing companies, they will have to invest money to print out the CDs. And when they are done with the pressing companies to manufacture the CDs, you now take it to the trucking companies, to take it to the brick and mortar distributors. Right? Now, you can do all of that in the comfort of your home. If you don't have the access, you can buy a mic and just sing whatever you're singing in front. You can mix it yourself. You can go on YouTube and learn how to mix and master. To a certain extent, to the point where it's presentable. You can put it out, you can stay there and go on DistroKid, pay whatever the amount of whatever it is, and put it on that platform. And it goes everywhere. The processes are easier, essentially.
So it makes it look as if
it looks easy. It looks easy. But then the people that are doing it on a large scale, it is still not easy.
I get you now.
Right? But then back in the day, right? Those guys are going to say it's but the privilege, the version of privilege, there was a version of privilege at the time as well. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. There was a version of when you have access, what comes with the access, the marketing that comes with the access, the funding that comes with the access, the stages where you can go when it comes to the access, the awards that you might be able to win when you come with the access, right? Osadebe wasn't selling 350,000 copies without marketing, without a label that was really spending. They put the marketing strategies in that article. I'll send it to you when I'm done here. There were marketing strategies that they were using to market in Nigeria, in East Africa, and abroad, in the UK especially, as a touch point for the rest of the world, right? So there were privileges even then. I'm not saying it's something to sneer at. It was still not easy. It was not easy then. There's a version of it not being easy now. So everybody needs to respect everybody's generation. It's like in basketball. We have conversations about the GOAT every time.
Yeah. Okay. So just
sorry. Let me just round up. I said it was going to be long-winded. right? So
He's going on.
my thing is, I just feel like people, yes, those guys, goats. I actually think people underestimate Osadebe a lot in terms of greatest Nigerian artists. I think we need to, like, Dan Mariah from the North. People underestimate those guys in Ghost conversations. But I really want people to also put these guys, give them a fair crack. I'm not saying put them at number 1 or number 2, wherever you want to put them, but put them in there.
Put them somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's look at just one more metrics, one more twist to this goat goat status. Yeah. What it takes to be a goat. Someone also said somewhere that, you know, for you to be called a goat, holistically speaking, you need to have use your voice to do something for the people. For example, Michael Jackson spoke a lot about so many things, about society, about freedom, about black and white. Bob Marley spoke a lot about, you know, disparity when it comes to race. Fela spoke extensively, even with his music, even went to jail for it. You know, do you think that using your voice as well adds to your accolade and final footprint of the GOAT status when you look at the likes of everyone shying away from anything that is not music? They don't want to talk about anything. They don't want to be part of anything, even though their music is a voice. You know what I'm saying? Music is a powerful weapon. In fact, music is a weapon that can be used to fight. But we find out that this culture we're living in today, you don't really get people talking about it. You know, people ran away from Black Lives Matter. Even Americans, for example, American musicians were running away from Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
You know, and do you think that kind of has dimmed the light on the status of some of these people because they didn't really speak out when they could have? Do you think that speaking, using your voice to speak, adds to your status
as a GOAT?
To say that you're the GOAT?
No. I don't think it does. I think different eras, different perspectives. There was a time in Nigeria, right, where if you wanted to release an album, people would say put something about Nigeria, right? Especially for rappers, because rap is struggle music. Put something about Nigeria to just like, because people want to hear about, you know. It would be nice if they did it, but I don't think they have to. That's my personal politics.
Right.
I'm not forcing it on anyone.
No, sure.
And I've said this for 5 years. I said it during NSAS. I did multiple videos about it during NSAS. And this was when I was a critic. It's not now because I'm trying to be PC. No, this is what I've always been. It would be nice if artists did it. It would be great if they stood for something beyond the music, especially in terms of social politics. But I don't think they have to.
They have to.
You don't need to. But if you build your brand on social politics and you've gained benefits from it, when the time comes for you to stand on your word, you have to. Because if you don't, and people hold you accountable for what you were saying before then that's fair. That's my politics. Now, if you now have an impact on that, and you stand, if it's a country that deals with political strife, social political strife, and you stand for it and you actually win, and it's not based on hypocrisy. When people are considering GOATs and your impact on people, because when people are not discussing GOAT status, it goes beyond just the GOATness of the music and the impact of the GOATness of the music.
True.
It goes to the impact of the person.
Of the person, yeah.
And what they've been able to do. That's why when people are talking about the greatest Nigerian producers, people are going to say, oh, but where's XXX's person? Don Jazzy has Maven. Where's XXX person's label? You might not be able to argue with that. Because you 100% get, because that is legacy. Legacy is also a part of goodness. So when people are having the conversation, because human perception goes to the person and they're not giving them props for that, you might not be able to complain, because at the end of the day, everything is perception based. And you can't fight against perception forever. Again, I don't believe you have to. I hate the fact that we try to prod artists, public figures to speak on things. I've been prodded to speak on things for a long time and I hated it. I've had to release statements that I'm not your savior. Do you understand? Kendrick Lamar did a song where it was about that Black Lives Matter stuff. That's why I made that song titled Savior. I am not your savior. I am just a human being like you who just happens to be blessed at my craft. I can't save everybody. It's just the truth. That was what, if I was Tunde Onokoya some days ago,
Yeah.
what I would have done is I would have just posted a screenshot of that song and I would not have said anything. All that statement, I am not your savior, bro. At the end of the day,
Wow.
I am not.
Right.
I'm trying to do stuff for my community. And for that to matter, I need to collaborate with the government of the day. My activism needs to be administration agnostic. It means it can't be limited. I have to collaborate with the government of the day so that my activism is going to get to a certain place. My altruism, the support I'm getting for it, the people I'm advocating for, they will get a platform that is bigger than what I can give to them. So if the president calls me and says, I want to support, he's not supporting me, he's supporting my cause, my advocacy. Am I going to reject that and deny those kids the opportunity? So what I would have done if I was him is I would have posted that defiant statement. Thank God it wasn't me. I'm petty. I would have said, I am not your savior. So it goes back to these guys. They are really not your savior. Hold your politicians accountable. Like, they are not politicians. They are just people that make music for you. You enjoy their music. They are not the ones that have to fix your roads. Yes, if they decide to go and speak about and put pressure on the government, let's be real, the government will still do what the government wants to do. So they don't, if they choose to, great. They don't have to. But if you create a brand around that and you've benefited from that brand, people have a right to hold you accountable. That's it.
All right. So, I mean, you've put it out very cleanly in plain English. Let's not even go there anymore. What do you guys think about that? Being able to use your voice to, to affect change, to cause a change, is not necessarily an ingredient to make you and the title of group.
It can be an added advantage when people are judging you or judging greatness and they say, oh,
he's great because
this guy, I'll put out, okay, maybe there's a tiebreaker. They need a tiebreaker in terms of goodness. Oh, but this guy did this. You can't be mad at it. It's just what it is.
Fair enough. Well said. I can't argue with you, man. So these are the reasons why we had to call you around so we can have this conversation about what it takes to be the GOAT. And we can go on forever and ever and ever. I'm sure about that. But please, I know you don't want to do this. I know you look at me now and tell me, saying, why, guy, why? We may have had just one GOAT in the last 45, 50 years who's worthy of the title.
Yeah.
But we do know that Jesus, for example, gave birth to many Jesuses.
Yeah.
So would you say that there are maybe one or two possible GOATs that maybe in the next 5-7 years, we will look at them and say, oh, this is not this one now, GOAT. Let's look at what we have
right now.
The present crop of super amazing talents that we have. Top of my head, I can mention. Should I mention for you? Should I give you option?
I can mention. I can mention a few. I think the 2010 generation. I think in 50, 100 years, I think people. People that I mean by the 2010 generation. You know the 2010 generation.
Yeah.
I think the 2010 generation, people will look at them in 50, 100 years and probably say they might call them the greatest crop of Nigerian artists ever. Because of what they've been able to do and what they've gone on to do. So it's like Wiz, David, Burna, Olamide, Tiwa Savage, those 5.
Do you think that maybe there might be?
I think they should be in good conversations. Yes.
Okay,
100%. Right. I think I 100% think I don't think you can have a list of greatest Nigerian artists top 10 without all those names being there.
Without all those names, but I'm sorry to put this to you, but you don't see maybe a Flavor in there somewhere, maybe or maybe Kiss Daniel in there somewhere. And I mean, along the way, I get you.
So here's the thing. The sad part about life is that if you're having a conversation about GOAT statuses, there can't be emotional attachment. It's not your favorite list. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. It's not your list of favorite artists. It's greatness. And when it comes to greatness, it's easily verifiable facts not data. Data, I'm not even talking about, I'm saying facts, right? And impact, easily verifiable. And sometimes it's also about the size of the brand, right? From Flavor's generation, it is an incredible journey that he's been on that is still able to be here by now. I don't think anybody in his generation is still here. I actually don't think so. I think Flavor is Nice's generation, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Yep. You're right.
And the fact that he's still here, he headlined the show in the UK last year. I think at the O2, I think he did O2
headlined.
Brixton. Is it O2 Brixton I did?
I think it's Brixton you did, yeah. But it's incredible, right? I mean, I now I'm seeing your picture.
Do you understand?
I'm seeing your picture.
I don't. So, yes, that is incredible. But then, he was like 3 or 4 years before these guys, right? In his way, he's greatness personified. He's one of Nigeria's greatest artists ever, right? But when you are now ranking, he might not make the top 10.
The metrics are harder to hear. They will fall by the
harder to justify. Now, in the bastion of greatness, maybe there are other people that are greater than the others. I'll leave other people to rank them. But I don't think there is a fair list to make. I'll be very shocked if anybody made a list. I'll be very shocked. Actually, let me think about that.
Because when you mentioned, I mean, the Burna, Davido, Wizkid, Tiwa, Olamide. There's just so much.
When you think about it, right, it feels like there's an underestimation of Flavor when you think about it, especially because since I respect the Southeastern boys because of the fact that they've been able to bring their culture to the forefront. That their sound, Ogene, Epili, Egedege, all of those sounds. And it's giving them a new lease on life, right? And they've been able to give the industry another sound to go on. You have Fowls doing a song on that Epili or Egedege song for right? And
it's like a smoke that doesn't go out.
I would think part of the reason why people might not fairly look at Flavor might be the size of the brand and the noise that might not be attached to the brand as much.
Man, that's a fact.
I don't think I think the noise that trails everybody
has a contributing power.
Yeah, I think it has. I think the noise is not. It doesn't come from just anywhere. The noise comes from the things that you amplify, the stories that you tell. The way people view your brand. It's not just the success that you have. Flavor is a very successful person. Flavor has won Mamas. I don't think people realize that.
Yeah.
He won Best Live Performer, I think 2 years in a row, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't think people don't respect it because.
Do you think there could be a fundamental issue? Maybe like the language of the music, maybe?
No, language is not a barrier anymore, to be honest. I don't think language is a barrier anymore. I don't think like Ashake was the biggest artist in this country and was singing significantly in Yoruba. I don't think like some of the biggest songs in the world have been delivered in like K-pop has like a whole staple in Nigeria. It's sung in Korean. Nobody understands the thing they're saying. My favorite song right now is a song titled "Is This Wakanjani?" That song is Zulu. I don't speak Zulu, right? I don't think language. I don't.
So it's probably the size of the brand.
I think size of the brand probably and the perception around the brand, which can still be fixed with the right narratives, the right conversations, the right plugins. But to be honest, if you were Flavor, would you care about that? Let's be real.
I hate to use this last measure. This is my last measure because please don't take this last measure seriously.
I want to mention some other people in terms of good conversations.
Please.
In 9-10 years, I think 3 people are probably going to be in that conversation. 3-4 people.
Right.
I think Rema, 3 in 10, 15, 20 years, you probably see Rema's name on that list a lot. I think I'll put my bets on that.
Okay.
I think Ira
Ira.
in a way. I think Thames, just because of what she's been able to accomplish. Because of his first 2 years and the trajectory he's currently on, I would say like probably maybe Ashake as well. Maybe.
Okay.
Then there's another guy that I don't think is in that flavor realm where people just
Who is that, please?
look at him. Kiss Daniel. Where people just
It's just like,
you understand?
it's
It's the same.
not here, but
yeah,
there. It's just,
where people just don't like.
but the
if you want to
incredible work
count-
he puts in,
Not just
no bad songs, bro.
hits, like the fact that this guy can craft hits, I think it's been here for 11 years now.
So
12.
it could be also a brand thing, maybe.
Woju was 2013.
Yeah,
or
around 13. So he's probably around, about
11, 12 years.
12 years. So you think could that be a brand thing also, or it could just be a fact that it's just, what's the word, man? How do you explain it? How do you explain why Kiss Daniels is not in that list, that conversation?
I think he's in the list of a lot of people currently. I think on greatest Nigerian artist lists, I think he'll be there fairly if you put the right people in a room to actually break down the list. So when people hear greatest Nigerian artists, it could be 100 people on the list. I don't think you can make a list of 100 greatest Nigerian artists without putting Kiss Daniel's name on it. Personally, I don't see how.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But I think, but then if you actually ask people, who are the greatest Nigerian artists of all time?
I get you.
The names that will come out from this modern day is like 5 people. And then if you go to the previous era, we are going to probably hear The Band, P Square, and Two Face. Finish. Right? Nobody's going to mention any other person. Right? And if you also come to this era, Kiss Daniel is the last biggest artist from his generation. He's the biggest from his generation when you consider the run is being on. Because in terms of staying power and the fact that he's been able to craft hits.
Do you think we're having an overload of talent? That's why it's difficult for us
I don't think there's anything
to
like
fine tune this GOAT status, because
no.
we have so much talent in Nigeria. It's ridiculous.
Everybody has talent everywhere.
Well, but this is in Nigeria. It feels like it's gone up, compared to the world,
I think goes back to the ease that I was talking about the other time, about the ease that I was talking about as regards what people can, how easy it is to make music and put music out. So a lot of people that can release music back then, to even release music was a chore, because who's going to
I remember that. Yeah, you raised a point,
right?
Yeah.
So now everybody has access. Anybody can put music out, and because of that, there's that illusion that.
Do you think controversy adds to the GOAT status? Because the guys, the names you mentioned just now, this is a funny fact. I'm not trying to make it like a fact, but it's just a funny fact. If we mentioned the Olamide, controversy has followed him. Davido, Wizkid, Burna Boy, Tiwa Savage. Controversies have followed these guys throughout their careers. Do you think maybe, as part of a strategy, do you think?
I don't think controversy is a part of GOAT status. No. But I think it's a part of brand building, unfortunately. Especially for men. I don't think controversy favors women in this industry. I think inherently we are still an inherently patriarchal and misogynistic society.
But controversy keeps you in the eye, and you mentioned something about how maybe the Kiss Daniel brand maybe.
He's had his own fair share of controversy as well. He had label controversies. There was a time about how people perceived him in the industry. He's had a lot of controversies, a lot of conversation based around him. I think it adds to the brand, right? But I don't think it's a part of GOAT state. It helps. Okay, let me put it this way. Controversy can help as a part of brand building if it is the right controversy, because controversy can be a twofold. It can either help you or actually make you fall. So it's a twofold. But then for especially male artists, controversy can help them because everybody sort of gravitates towards them if it's the right type of controversy and if it is done right and their teams do the right job to actually manage it properly and they have like the perfect narratives and the person confronts it and holds its face on, right? But with women, I don't think controversy helps. I don't think the industry gives women the same grace for controversies, especially controversies related to relationships and personal life. I just don't think the industry. I don't think it's not just the industry; it's society. I don't think the
do you think
society does.
a lack of rivalry can what's the word, can reduce your status because you're not in the conversations where people are asking or comparing you consistently to this person or that person, and therefore because you don't have an outright rival in music.
There's no era where there was no rival. I don't think there's any greatness that didn't have a rival. I don't think so.
So if you're an artist that doesn't have such,
yeah,
I
don't think there's an artist that doesn't have any rival. It's not possible. It's if you are at the top of the line in any field of life, people are going to pit you against the other person. It's just life. I didn't make the rules.
Motolani, you are an open book. I need to keep taking more from you.
I didn't make the rules. It's just there's no era where there was no female artists. There was no controversy. If you look at the world of like these guys, at some point it was this person versus this person. Okay, this year who's the number one? Who's the number two? You're going to go to the era of D'banj and Two-Face, Tolu Tetswila and Idris. There's going to be comparison. If you are going to go to the era of P Square, maybe at some point P Square felt like a standalone because you couldn't compare them to anybody. But even then, people are still going to rank the biggest three Nigerian artists of this year. It's going to be D'banj, Two-Face, P Square. Do you understand? It's just what it is, right? And then
it's a cultural thing.
And then female artists, like people are going to say, Tiwa Savage didn't have competition. It's not true. Where do
you rank Ira Star in all of this? You know what I mean? Because I mean in the trajectory.
It's still early. It's still early.
Okay.
To put Ira Star, I don't think it would be fair to put her in any conversations yet. She's been here for 4 years already, which is quite a while. But just because of the people that she's up against, like these guys they are still here. They have refused to go. And they are probably not going to go for another 5, 10 years, 15 years. And I think even when people think their stars have not, they are still going to be, like look at Hove, Jay-Z. Like we're in the generation where we are seeing people shine into their 50s. Back then, 35, you are retired.
Facts.
40, you are retired.
Facts, you're retired,
now,
yeah.
These guys are going to be, this guy is probably going to be touring in his 50s and 60s. You understand?
It's not going away.
It's not going away.
I'm sorry, just to hold your thoughts on that. Excuse me. You saw what happened to the BETs. Real quick. I mean, just to in 1 minute, what would you think? What do you think? What happened to the BETs to Ira Star? Just to put it in context, because I know that people would say it's not unfair, right? Because stars don't get treated like that. So what do you think?
I just feel like as people, we need to have a fair conversation about what is fair and what's not fair. And we need to be honest about it. And from true evaluation can only come honesty. Right? And if you don't evaluate very well, you might never have an honest conversation. I think, first things first, this award is on a network. Okay? On that network, they probably wouldn't have more than 3-4 hours to do award presentation, to do performances, which is what most people have come to see. They're going to do like all the jokey stuff. I think Kevin Hart hosted it this year, right? All the personality, make everybody laugh. Then they're going to do commercials, which is where the money comes from. They're probably going to do like whatever else around that. Most awards don't present all the awards on stage, except you don't have more than 15 categories, or maybe you don't have more than 10. It's the Grammys have more than 50 categories. I think about 4 gets presented at the main event. I think the major categories, the big 4: Best New Artist, Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and and Album of the Year. I think those are the 4 that get presented. I think they're the last ones to get presented. Sorry, they present pop vocal, they present electronics, rap,
duos,
but a lot of the country Americana, bluegrass, electronic. They don't
really get on
present
stage,
producer, non-classical. I don't think they present those ones on stage. I've not personally seen it. Right? There are some people that they even announce them. They don't present them on a smaller stage. They just announce them and they mail them their gongs. So if that is done to American artists because of time constraints and because of the expansiveness and because they have to recognize everybody, right? It only makes sense. It only makes sense that the TV has to prioritize, quote and unquote, what is the biggest awards. Do you understand? Because those awards probably have sponsors attached to them. You understand? Because the eyeballs, people are probably going to be waiting for those awards. Now, I'm not saying that these people are not earning eyeballs from Africa. The reason why they are giving these awards is because they want to have ratings in Africa as well. I mean, because how many people tuned into that? They're going to take it to the brands for next year's award. Now, can we put some money on this award as well? If it's not there yet, it probably means that the eyeballs have not gotten to the point yet. Afrobeats is not a primary genre in America yet. Now, we are not where we were 5 years ago. 5 years ago, we didn't have an African Music Award at the Grammys. 5 years ago, everybody was fighting on world music. Now, there's an African music category at the Grammys. I think there's an African Music Award at the VMAs as well, if I'm not mistaken, and EMAs, right? Everything is in process. We can't fix everything with an entitlement mentality. And we need to stop that as a people. Now, it's unfortunate that happened. It's not ideal. But at the end of the day, it's an American award. It is an American award.
And that's harsh, man.
No, it is. Because the reality of the matter is nobody has more honor more than where they are from.
That's right.
Except you become the number one in that place. And you become undeniable.
Yeah, but
you become like Drake is from Canada and it was the number one in a decade.
It's like we're giving a rock award at the Headies.
Do you understand?
On American artists.
And then they say we're not presenting it on stage. How many people listen to rock in Nigeria? Do you understand? So I'm not saying it's eventually they'll probably need to fragment those awards or best Nigerian artists, best South Africa. They'll probably do it at some point in the next 10 years. Maybe these conversations will lead them to do it. But the reality is, everybody, when they honor us in our own countries, let's honor our own awards. It's very important. Do you understand? So that we're not going to be fighting over other people's awards. Come and honor Nigerian awards. Go to the Headies.
Facts only, man.
Go to Sound City Awards.
Yeah, facts.
Go to whoever awards. Go to Trace. Do you understand?
Go there.
They won't present your award behind the stage.
They'll give it to you, man.
They will give it to you on the stage. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying reject those awards. Don't reject them. Yeah. It's part of brand building. But we need to be careful about the way we have these conversations.
I agree with you. Thank you for that. So just to wrap things up real quick, we got to wrap things up. You've mentioned a lot of things about, let me use the word indices of this GOAT status and what it takes to be a GOAT. For somebody who's watching right now, real quick, just to wrap it up. Somebody who's watching right now, the artist who wants to be great, or some of the artists who may watch this podcast and say, it means say, call my name, we're not great. The road to greatness. What do you think are the things that some artists are missing now? In building their profile to greatness. What are those things that they are missing? There are a lot of things artists are not doing. We mentioned some off air.
Yeah,
you mentioned something. You think they're not performing well enough? You think they're not their crafts? They're not fine tuning their performance craft, or they're not writing better music, or they're not, What do you think it is that's making the music not last beyond 6 months, bro?
I don't think that's a function of the artist. I don't think we can put that at the feet of the artist. The fact that music doesn't have as much staying power. And we can't even say music doesn't have as much staying power anymore. Mr. Money with the Vibe is still in turntable album charts, I think, till now. He was released in 2022. Or maybe, I think he came out of the charts maybe at the end of last year. I can't remember. I think someone told me Ashake's last album, what's the title of the album again? Lungu Boy. Re-entered the top re-entered Apple Music top 5. I think music still has staying power. I just think it's so again long-winded. The industry is fragmented. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. The industry is fragmented because of listeners and listenership. And it's much easier now to build a community, either online or in real life, than it was at any point in history, in my opinion. Because of outreach, because of internet, because you can collate address books, you can send people emails, you can do online shows, you can do online meets and greets for your community. Like, you can do a lot of things. There's a young man currently called Mavo. He released a song titled Escaladize some weeks ago. A lot of people hadn't heard of him before then. Even me, I didn't hear about him until like late last year, early this year. But this guy has been building for a couple of years. I think he released his first song in 2023. A young man, I think he's still in uni. When he announced this EP this year, do you want to guess the amount of pre-saves he had? 1,000 pre-saves. Have you heard of him before?
I've never heard of him.
Exactly.
Guys, you know him?
Do you understand? The song is titled Escaladize. You can check it out. You probably wouldn't be able to relate to it. Do you understand? But there's a whole community of young people. We performed it at Abuad. I saw it on the video. Kids going crazy. Fagbo, Monty Fagbo. Do you understand? Like, singing it word for word. It shows you how fragmented the industry. There's a lot of things going on right now that you and I we don't know anything about. Maybe the only reason why I might know is because I work in the music industry. And I have to know. It's my job to know. Right? There are Mara DJs that you don't know, that they are huge. If they announce their show on mainland or in Akure, it will be packed. You've never heard about the guy. You understand?
This fragmentation thing is deeper.
Yes. You've never heard about the guy. Now, there are people in Southeast. Adeayo, do you know Adeayo? He did a documentary about the Southeast. Enugu. He went to Enugu to shoot about the rap.
Man. Something is going on there.
The rap scene. Jerry does a stadium show every December. Did you know that?
It's going on. It's killing over there too, bro. Yeah. And even further down the Southeast too. If you go down.
Exactly. So they are talking about Eboina. I've never heard about. I don't know what's going on there. I do know one or two things, but I'm not inside the culture. I can only see and hear from outside. I can only call people. How far? We say and talk to the go on for your state. So I'm saying all of this to say, I don't think it's about the music not having staying power. It's very difficult to create nationally recognized hit songs as superstars these days because communities, people just pick what they want. It is like people pick what they want to hear.
So it's gonna be harder to become a GOAT then.
Maybe not. There are people that always transcended. Rema has. Ira has. Thames did. All of them were limited to like small communities before. Now they've transcended. Now, part of the advantages of that is that the industry, when people are now ready to ascend, so like people build their artistry, their performance, their brand, what forms the essence of superstardom, they form it while they're there. Rema was a huge star in Benin. Sheyi Vibes. That's a very good example of it. Performing shows across the corridor. When he exploded, he was the most streamed artist in Nigeria last year. Sheyi Vibes. In Nigeria. I'm not saying the most streamed Nigerian artist. The most streamed Nigerian artist by Nigerians in Nigeria was Sheyi Vibes. So what I'm saying is, it is tougher now because now it's tougher to have music that's now you might not be listening to. People are going to say, "Oh, we've not had a hit record." There are some people that they have their own hit records in their community, and they're jamming that shit every fucking day. Do you understand? Niggas are doing dun, 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 dun. You don't know. But it's so the fragmentation. You're going to say we've not had a hit for 6 months, but you go on a random guy's what is it called? Is
playing
on a random guy's
something.
what is it called? On a random guy's Spotify. You have never heard of these guys before. You look at him, 1 million streams, 1 million streams, 5 million streams, 4 million streams. Who is streaming this guy? Now, some people are going to say, oh, there's streaming fraud. But I'm telling you that if you see this guy perform on a show, it's going to be evidence for you that people actually know his music. You just don't know it. No, everybody knows Luna now because of the fantastic work that they're doing through band building by performing across the country in universities.
So it's a plus. You're saying is it a plus in the building process of
it is
of Gates of this
people
GOATs status?
people are always going to transcend. There's going to be GOATs at some points, but right now we have a chance to create, in my opinion, way more successful artists than we ever have. That have access to money. They have access to brands. They have access to things that can change their families, their communities.
Than we've ever had in our nation's history.
In my opinion.
Interesting.
TML Vibes did a show at what's the name of that place? Terra Culture. Last year. I think it was it early this year actually. Early this year, January or February. I think it was January. Packed. He has released maybe 2 EPs. Right? He did an EP with DJ Focati, he did another one this year. Terra Culture, packed. Some big artists could not sell that place out.
No, you can't say that, man.
You understand?
Big artists can't sell the Terra Culture.
Some quote and unquote big artists cannot sell that place out.
Terra Culture.
Yeah.
They're not big now. No.
They are big.
No.
But it's just, see.
What do you mean by that?
It's not about not being big. Being big is different from having a community. Do people also want to see you perform? Do you understand? Like those are the things that people are looking at these days. Sometimes it's not because people don't like your music.
Because in fairness, I'm sorry to bring, but he can do that.
Yeah.
And bigger name artists cannot do that.
Yeah.
How many other big artists can't do that? That's what I'm thinking in my head right now.
That's what I'm saying about community building. Like, I need you to understand that the people that came there were his fans. Do you understand? People were singing the freestyles he did back in Audiomack in 2019, 2020, 2021. 2022. They were singing a freestyle. Like, I think he did it on the beat for, what's that beat that he did it on? People were singing it back to him.
So in the ranking,
people paid to stand.
So I mean, do you think there's a transcending going on in his case, or is it a case where he's not able to?
So it's not about he's still young.
Okay.
His story is still building.
Okay.
He's transcending now.
Okay.
Now he's entering the charts.
Okay.
Before you know it, he's going to blow up. And people are going to say, oh, he came from nowhere. No, he didn't.
Okay.
Like, look at all the stories we've had in Nigerian music, the blown artists that we've had in Nigerian music over the last 3-4 years. None of them have come out of nowhere. It's very difficult for you to just announce an artist today and put money behind them and they're going to blow. No. Now, everybody needs to build up. You go grind, though. You are going to grind. You are going to build that community. Shout out to Tega. Tega says this thing all the time.
Yeah, do you think
there are no shortcuts anymore? There were never shortcuts, but there are ways for you to go about it before.
Yeah.
But now, you go do the work. Right? Ashake, that blew up some years ago. Ashake was around for years before then, for mad years. Sheyi Vibes was around for years. Odumodu was around for years. Charlie Poppy built a lot of things on TikTok. Right? Who else do we want to talk about? Fola has been around for a while. Like, maybe not. He's still young. He's like 24, but people know of Fola. Ayomaf had been grinding for years.
Do you think? Do you think the greatest of all time female artists in the last 20 years is Tiwa Savage? Maybe.
Yeah, 100%.
The last 20 years.
100%. There is no way to be able to argue against it. Like, it's undeniable now. It's undeniable right now.
I mean, there are others now who are,
they are going to get in those conversations, but I think it's for greatness in Nigerian
music industry.
Not the biggest.
For
greatness in Nigerian music. I think it is tough. See, whatever the Nigerian female pop star is, whatever the template is, it is Tiwa Savage template. Everybody is running with the Tiwa Savage template. It's just, I'm not, as a pop star, I'm not saying everybody is running with. African bad girl, sexy. It was you are here. You were here now. You are the one that should be telling me this. Because you saw this thing.
No. I'm just having that's rectifying.
Tiwa Savage, when she was selling sexy, Nigerian parents criticized her for it.
Yep, I gave her one of her first interviews, and I remember that looking at her like, this be about something else that's coming. Yeah.
I know do choreography. Niggas were like, she said, Oma Burukuni, ban the video.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, you're right.
But everybody is doing it now. It's feeding their children now.
Yeah.
So it's not about Tiwa Savage is one. Tiwa Savage is still the reason why some people have hits in this industry. She transcended some people's hits.
Game changer.
Remixes.
Yeah.
That she's been doing. How can you do that remix if you're not big? Is it possible?
There goes